Hello and welcome to part 2 of my demonstration for a competition. So here you saw me do, in the first part you saw me do the nails and paint them and make this little table. So today we're going to make the tablecloth and the little polish bottles. So we're going to start off with a backing form from the forms, and we're going to draw on the back side of it and draw around the table that we made, as you can see there. And now I'm going to take non-wipe top coat, and as you can see the pen on the background of the form. So with top coat, with gel, it doesn't like a shiny surface, so you've got to be really careful with this step and go quite slowly but also quite thick-ish with the layer. And you need a top coat that's quite flexible. So here you can see me applying that to the form and the perimeter, and I'm flash curing this, but I'm starting off really gradually from the back, so really far back from it, and then going in gradually, or else it'll start to separate on the form. We're going to cure that and then peel it off the backing form, as you can see why we needed a flexible top coat, and peel it off and cure that one again on the other side that didn't hit. There you can see it's flexible. So we're going to cure the back of that. Now it's completely cured and it's completely flexible. So we're going to measure that up and we're going to cut that into 4 for the corners, as you can see. And I'm taking off the sharper edges that it just sort of pulled away from the form, so it sort of created some sharp edges. So I'm just clipping off them. So we're going to cut it into 4 and create the edges there. You're going to need 2 of these, one for the corners and one for the sides. Now it looks a bit bodged and what am I trying to say? I've made a hash of it, but I haven't. And there's method in the madness, and trust the process, basically. So here I am taking nail chemie glue, and I'm going to glue the corners of those corner pieces that I've made, and I'm going to fold it over and create like little ruffles as if it looks like a tablecloth. So you can see that I'm just sort of going around gradually, holding that glue in place. It'll take a bit to set, and then once it's set you can then carry on, and that, as you can see, I've made a little ruffly corner. So with the second piece that you made, cut long strips and then take off the like rounded edges so it fits the middle of the tablecloth. You could do this all in one piece, but the way I've done it, it sort of creates the ruffles that I wanted. If it had been in one piece, it had just sort of not worked as well as I wanted it, so hence why I did this. You won't see it in the final bit that I finished it with, but yeah, here I am showing you the how I'm creating those little ruffles. So now I've finished it all, and I just need to trim off those little excess pieces that wouldn't, I say, appear in nature. It's not nature, it's appear in real life. When you put a tablecloth, it tends to have neat edges and stuff like that, and that's what I'm trying to create. I'm just touching up those little bits that I want to sort of bend underneath the table. I'm going for like a realistic kind of cartoony effect. So here it is, completely done, and like I said, it looks like a bit of a hot mess, but it's not. There's method in my madness. So I'm going to take a buffing block. I don't really think a file would work, but a buffing block is kind of flexible and it'll go around those edges. So I'm now going to base coat the whole lot, and I'm going to hold it with my tweezers, which I like to call twangers, thanks to Laura Hall from Nail Chemie. And I'm going to just hold the piece in place so that I can then base coat every little bit that I need to do. Now don't worry that it hits the table legs. I mean, try not to, but if it does, clean it up with a clean-up brush soaked in isopropyl alcohol. Now I'm taking Humbug. I debated what colour, because I don't want to sort of detract from my design, but you want some design that sort of goes with it. Here I'm taking my pinching tool, and I need the twanger bits, the tweezer bits, to hold it in place, and I just sort of gripped hold of the legs there that you can see, and I'm taking the Humbug from Nail Chemie, and I'm going to paint the top of the tablecloth. I do clean up the edges because obviously it's impossible not to hit it, but yeah, I'm painting all of the tablecloth and then curing it in the lamp for 30 seconds, and then I'm going to do the outer side. Here I'm demonstrating here that you could see right through it, and I didn't really want to go for that effect. I wanted sort of a jelly look but not a jelly look, and I just sort of went around the edges there and cleaned it up. Again, you won't notice this in the final. Now I'm taking the matte top coat and I'm matte top coating all over the tablecloth that I've just painted. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, it's just so that it prepares a surface ready for the design. It's just easier for me to paint on top is matte top coat, and you'll see once I've cured it for 30 seconds it is absolutely matte. Now I do kind of like this, but I think that, you know, this kind of glitter needs to be shiny. So there it is. You can see that I've missed a bit, but it really doesn't matter. So I'm taking my 000 brush and from Nail Chemie, my 1-stroke in number 2 and my 8mm liner brush, my white gel paint and my purple gel paint, and my mixing palette of course. I'm going to mix them on the palette with my 1-stroke brush. So you need to have the lightest colour at the top, the darkest colour at the bottom, blend them together side to side as you can see that I'm doing here. If you need a more in detail description of how to do 1-stroke, I can do it, but I'm not the best. This is taken from Carol Sheeny Hailstone. She is phenomenal at 1-stroke. I learnt from her, she is the bomb. And I hope she watches this video because I take inspiration from her. 1-stroke is one of those things that once you've got it, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant technique to have, and I love doing it because it takes away from a lot of my stress and strain that I have through the day. My son's autistic, I have a knackered back, and obviously with lockdown and stuff there's a lot of stress going on, and this just takes away that because you're concentrating so much on the placement of your leaves and your petals and where you're putting things, and once you've put it all together and you've created each layer, you can see it all coming together, and it is so relaxing to do. I highly recommend to take a 1-stroke course. It's phenomenal. So in between each layer, I'm obviously topping up my brush and the paint that's in my brush, and then I'm curing it for 60 seconds because Nail Chemie paints take 60 seconds to cure, and then I'm going in with the next layer and neatening up those petals, sharpening up those lines, creating little folds and wrinkles in the flower and the petal that, you know, you do see in nature. And I'm just doing that basically, and I'm creating petal by petal and flower by flower, and I'll let you watch it, but I just love 1-stroke, absolutely love it. I also want to state that I want to have a massive shout out to Natalie Mugridge, who will be in the description box below. She is a phenomenal nail artist. She's just newly qualified, but her work is phenomenal, and she helped me get the courage to come onto YouTube and do these. I'd been thinking about this since January of this year, and I just ummed and ahed about it, and I just thought, you know something, I'm going to do it. And I love what I do and I love my work. I love being a nail tech. I would never go back to being anything different. This is my business, my work, and I absolutely love it. And Natalie Mugridge helped me and gave me the courage to do it. Also Carol Hailstone, who I'll also put in the description box below. Her work is phenomenal, you've got to check her out. Her lessons, she's lovely, and I class her as a dear friend, and Natalie Mugridge, to be fair, I class them both as dear friends. I also want to give a shout out to my friend and client, Sherstin Shepherd. She does a lot of makeup and stuff on Facebook. I'll put her in the description box below, but she also helped me do and figure out how to do videoing and recording myself. So thank you to those 3 people who helped me do this. Also to Nail Chemie, who I have used all these products from Nail Chemie. I have bought this out of my own money. I use them in Salon, and I am not sponsored, not affiliated, but I just love Nail Chemie products. Just here I'm just showing you the blend in my brush, so I just blended basically through each process. So yeah, Nail Chemie are just a phenomenal company. Dave and Hayley, the ambassadors, the Jode and Laura Hall. I love Laura Hall to bits, and Carmel. They all have lives every day, every week, especially now during lockdown, and teaching you how to do little things, little nail art things, and they're just a brilliant company to use and work with, so thank you to them. So here I am just creating the little buds, just filling in that little bit of space. It's all about composition and looking how things look, and in my opinion I didn't think that the tablecloth, Lisa, get it out, looked real, and I just wanted to create some little buds. So here I am creating little buds and little flower petals, and off the table as well. I did at the end, I didn't record it because it was a really bad angle to get, but on the other side of this side that I'm doing, I created a few more petals and what have you, and it just sort of finished the look a little bit. So here you are. Hang on. You can see me doing the work and what have you. Sorry, I didn't realise I'd press play. So I'm just painting on these flowers and what have you. My little boy's next to me and he wanted to say hello.
Hello, I'm Luca and I'm 7 years old. My birthday is in 2 days. It's the 9th of November and it's on Monday, and I love Mummy a lot. She's the best nail tech in the world. Make sure you hit that that thumbs up and that bell so hard it will destroy your phone.
We don't want them to destroy their phone. Thank you, Luca. Sorry about that, he desperately wanted to say hello. So here I am taking my 00 fine liner brush in white, and I'm just hitting those petals that hit the light basically, and creating light reflections. So yeah, I'm just doing the detail on it. So there you can see I've just enhanced it a little bit more. So I'm taking my 00 again and using the purple and creating little fine strokes up in the dark a bit. Sorry about that. So I'm just taking the purple and creating depth to those petals, and just little strokes. I haven't got very much on my brush, as you can see, and I'm just creating the dark part of the inside of those petals. So as you can see there, it's just created a little bit more dimension and depth to those petals. I'm just going in a little bit more and touching up those lines. So now I'm going to flash cure that for 60 seconds, and I'm going to take white and my dotting tool, and I'm just going to fill in those little bits of empty spaces with white dots. Again, just creating a little bit more dimension to the tablecloth there. I do go in with the purple, but in the end you can't really see it, so there's really no point doing it. But anyway, I liked it, and I loved how it finished and how it looked in the end. So now I'm taking my non-white top coat and my tweezers again to hold it in place so that I can top coat it, and now you can see it all come to life. This can be done in matte, but for me I kind of wanted this shiny, so I'm just going in there with the shiny top coat, cleaning up the edges and curing for 30 seconds. So So there it is, completely finished. Now I'm just going to sort of place it in the middle of the flooring that I created, and now you can see it sort of coming together and what I was trying to get at. The underneath you can't really see, and you can see that it was made of sort of different levels of gel. So yeah, I really love this design. I think it's so effective, and hop along to Carol Hailstone and see how she does one stroke. So now I'm going to take my nail form back in again, and these tubes that come on the paint brushes, and this is what we need to create the little nail polishes bottles. Now I ummed and ahed on how to do this, and I decided this was the better way. So this is the inside of the nail polish that I was making, and that's going to sit on the table like that. Again, you won't see it like this, so just trust the process. So here I am taking those little cut up strips of the tubing that I wanted, and because gel doesn't stick to a shiny surface, these are perfect for what we need to do. So here I am lining them up, taking my base coat, and I'm filling one or two of them at a time so that it sort of floods the inside of it but doesn't leak out of the bottom, flash curing it with my light and then carrying on. So I think I made about 17 of them, but I didn't need them in the end, but I'd rather make extra and not have enough, and have enough than not have enough. So here I am, is just going at a couple of time and flash curing them, filling those bottles, and then that's them completely filled halfway through. I then go and flash cure them, no, fully cure them, and do the whole process again, and because we filled the bottom they won't leak out. So I cured them for 60 seconds in the lamp so that they're completely cured, and now I am taking my nippers and just nipping around that plastic, and like I said, because gel doesn't stick to a shiny surface, they come out relatively easy. I was having a bit of a job with them, but there. So there they are, all lined up, these little tiny bottles that I was trying to achieve. I'm going to take my mixing palette, just take anything really, but I took my mixing palette because it was sturdy, and some double-sided sticky tape that I got from Amazon. It's kind of raised, but it's also it's good for stuff like this. So I took my tweezers and one by one stuck them to the mixing palette at a time. I then sort of realised that they weren't evenly distributed and I couldn't get in between the bottles, so I sort of replaced them again. I applied some more sticky tape and just followed the process. There you can see they're sort of raised slightly to what I wanted. Here I am taking the tape and taking the backing off the tape and sticking more on, and I think at this point I'd realised that they just weren't where I wanted them to be, so I faffed and messed about with them. So there they are, and that's how they're looking from the side angle. So I'm taking my base coat, and these kind of had like a little divot in the middle of them, and that's not what I wanted. I kind of wanted it to look like little bottles, so I went and filled all in the little crevices. That's a bit of a weird word. Filled in the crevices and sort of domed them, and with base coat. I then cured them for 30 seconds and made sure that they were all even and level. So here we are making the handle of the bottle. So I'm taking my 4D sculpting gel from Nail Chemie, rolling it into like a little sausage, and this makes like two, comfortably makes two. So here I am, and I'm using my isopropyl alcohol brush, and I'm just rolling it in my fingers, and then I'm going to apply it to a form, make sure it's in shape, and then put it in the lamp for 60 seconds again. Now this cures solid, so I'm taking my nippers and I'm cutting them in half. So again, I made the amount that I needed. Don't worry about the break off bits, they're going to get covered, or you can nip off the edges and make sure they're neat. So here again, I'm taking my base coat, and again, a couple at a time, and I'm going to put a little bit of base coat on top of those polish bottles, and then stand upright these little handles that I'm trying to get. Don't worry if they're wonky, try and get them as neat as you possibly can. But I was struggling a little bit with a couple of them, but yeah. So once you've done a couple of them, freeze cure them, and then carry on with the rest of them. So here I am freeze curing. and then I'm going to carry on with all of them, and then I'm going to full cure for 30 seconds. So there they all are. They look a bit strange, but yeah. So that's how tiny they are in comparison to my nails. Again, apologies for my nails, they need doing. So I'm going to take my gel art brush and my black gel paint, and I'm going to paint every single one individually. I did a couple at a time, and then made sure that they were all neat and tidy, and then carried on. It is a little bit of a tricky process, but again, trust the process. So here they are, all completely painted. I did them 2 coats of them, and this is them done. I'm quite pleased with them. I've still got to do in part 3, I've got to paint them and make them look a little bit more like nail polishes, but this is it for part 2. Thank you for watching. Keep tuned for part 3. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Bye.